Little girl asks Shaquille O'Neal for help. He discovers a hidden talent that inspires millions. The sun shone brightly over a bustling public park, where the sound of children's laughter mixed with the hum of life. Families spread out on picnic blankets, friends jogged along shaded pathways, and children played with colorful kites that danced against the clear blue sky. Amid the lively atmosphere, a towering figure sat on a bench near a basketball court. Casually dressed in a simple t-shirt and athletic shorts, Shaquille O'Neal leaned back, enjoying a rare moment of peace away from the spotlight. The park was a favorite spot for locals, but today it held a different kind of magic. Nearby, a little girl named Emily, no older than 7, stood hesitantly by a flower bed, her hands clutching the hem of her dress. She had spotted Shaq from afar, recognizing him immediately from his countless appearances on TV. But she didn't see him as a basketball legend or a celebrity. To her, he was simply someone who could help. Summoning all her courage, Emily took a deep breath and approached the bench where Shaq sat. Her small hand reached out, tugging gently at his sleeve. "Excuse me, sir," she said, her voice trembling with a mixture of fear and determination. Shaq turned to look at her, his kind eyes meeting her tearful ones. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" he asked, his deep voice soft and reassuring. Emily swallowed hard, clutching a small note in her tiny hand. "Can you help me save my mom?" she whispered, her words carrying a weight far beyond her years. What began as an innocent plea for help would lead to an incredible journey of discovery, one that would uncover a hidden talent within Shaq and inspire millions of hearts around the world. Shaquille O'Neal leaned forward, his towering frame dwarfing the small bench as he listened intently to Emily. The little girl's hands trembled as she held out a folded note, her wide eyes brimming with unshed tears. "My mom, she's really sick," Emily began, her voice barely above a whisper. "She's an artist, but she can't paint anymore because of her illness. I don't know what to do, and we don't have anyone to help us." Shaq's expression softened, the usual jovial glint in his eyes replaced with genuine concern. He took the note from Emily, unfolding it carefully as though it held the weight of the world. Scrawled in shaky handwriting were words that painted a picture of desperation and resilience, a plea for help from a single mother battling a debilitating illness while trying to care for her daughter. "You're really brave, Emily," Shaq said after a moment, his deep voice steady but full of emotion. "It takes a lot of courage to come up to someone and ask for help like this. Your mom must be so proud of you." Emily sniffled, her small frame trembling as she tried to hold back her tears. "She always says I'm her sunshine," she said quietly. "But now, it feels like the clouds won't go away." Shaq's heart ached at her words. He was no stranger to hardships, having faced his own share of struggles growing up, but seeing this tiny girl bear the weight of such a burden stirred something deep within him. He placed a large, gentle hand on her shoulder, his presence exuding a calming warmth. "Emily," he said, crouching down so their eyes were level, "I don't have all the answers, but I promise you this, I'm going to do everything I can to help you and your mom. You're not alone in this." Her eyes widened at his words, a flicker of hope piercing through the fear that had consumed her. "You mean it?" she asked, her voice trembling. "I mean it," Shaq said firmly, giving her a reassuring nod. "We're a team now, okay, and teams stick together." For the first time that day, a small smile broke through Emily's tear-streaked face. She wiped her eyes with the back of her hand and nodded, the bond between them solidifying in that moment. As they sat together on the park bench, the world around them seemed to fade away. Shaq wasn't just a famous athlete anymore, he was a lifeline, a beacon of hope for a little girl who had nowhere else to turn. And in that quiet moment of connection, they both felt the first stirrings of a journey that would change their lives forever. True to his word, Shaquille O'Neal decided to visit Emily's home the very next day. As his car pulled into the driveway of a modest apartment building, he felt a mix of emotions: concern for Emily and her mother, and curiosity about how he could make a meaningful difference. The building, though neat, bore the marks of wear and time. Shaq climbed the narrow stairs to their apartment, carrying a bag of groceries in one hand and a bouquet of flowers in the other. Emily opened the door before he could knock, her face lighting up with a smile. "You really came?" she exclaimed, her voice filled with excitement and relief. "I told you, kiddo," Shaq said with a grin, holding up the bag. "And I brought reinforcements." Inside, the apartment was small but cozy, adorned with warmth that spoke of love and resilience. The walls were lined with frames, not of family photos, but of breathtaking paintings, landscapes, portraits, and abstract pieces that seemed to tell stories through vivid colors and intricate details. "This is beautiful," Shaq murmured, his eyes scanning the room. From the corner of the room, a soft voice broke through. "Emily told me you'd be visiting." Shaq turned to see Lisa, Emily's mother, seated in a recliner. Her face was pale, and her frailty was evident, but her eyes sparkled with kindness. "It's nice to meet you, Ma'am," Shaq said, his towering frame slightly stooped as he approached her. He offered her the flowers, which she accepted with a smile. "Emily said you've been a real-life superhero," Lisa said softly, glancing at her daughter. "Thank you for being so kind to her." "I think she's the real hero," Shaq replied, glancing at Emily. "She's the one who brought us together." As they talked, Shaq's attention kept drifting to the paintings on the walls. There was something raw and unfiltered about them. Each stroke seemed to carry an emotion, each color a memory. His eyes landed on an easel in the corner, where an unfinished painting stood. It was a portrait of Emily, sitting by a window with sunlight streaming through her hair. Her expression was a blend of hope and sorrow, and the painting seemed to breathe with life. "Did you paint this?" Shaq asked, walking over to the easel. Lisa nodded, her voice quiet. "I did. I used to paint every day, but it's been harder lately." "It's incredible," Shaq said, his voice filled with awe. "You have a gift." Lisa smiled faintly. "I always dreamed of having a gallery show someday, but life had other plans." Shaq was struck by the resilience behind her words. Despite her struggles, Lisa had poured her heart into her art, creating something that connected so deeply with others. Inspired by her courage, Shaq felt a spark of something he hadn't felt in years. "You know," he began, "I've always loved sketching and doodling, but I never took it seriously. Seeing your work, it makes me want to try." Lisa's eyes lit up. "Art isn't about being perfect. It's about expression. You should try it." Later that evening, Shaq sat with a blank sketchpad in front of him, something he hadn't done in years. Emily sat beside him, her eyes wide with curiosity as he began to draw. His hands were big and a bit clumsy with the pencil, but he found himself enjoying the process. "You're pretty good at this," Emily said, her tone encouraging. Shaq chuckled. "I'm just getting started." "But your mom, she's the real deal." Over the next few days, Shaq's visits became a regular occurrence. He brought art supplies for Lisa and started working on his own sketches, taking inspiration from her style and Emily's encouragement. He discovered a love for blending colors, for creating something tangible from an idea. It was a side of himself he had never explored, and it filled him with a sense of purpose he hadn't expected. One afternoon, as he added the finishing touches to a sketch of Emily laughing, Shaq turned to Lisa. "I think we can do something special with your work. The world needs to see this." Lisa's eyes filled with tears, a mix of gratitude and disbelief. "Do you really think so?" "I know so," Shaq said firmly. "Your art tells a story that people need to hear." And as he continued to sketch and paint alongside Lisa and Emily, Shaq realized that this journey was more than just about helping them. It was about discovering a hidden part of himself. He wasn't just an athlete or a celebrity, he was an artist in his own right, and together, they were creating something extraordinary. Shaquille O'Neal leaned back in his chair, scrolling through his phone as an idea formed in his mind. He had been visiting Lisa and Emily for weeks, and their story had touched him deeply. But he knew that emotional support wasn't enough. Lisa's art deserved to be seen, and Emily's strength and resilience deserved to be celebrated. Shaq realized he had the perfect platform to amplify their story. The next morning, Shaq made a few calls, reaching out to friends in the entertainment and art industries. "I need your help," he said, his deep voice carrying an urgency that immediately caught their attention. "There's a family I've met, an incredible artist and her brave daughter. I want the world to see their story through Lisa's art." Shaq's idea was simple but powerful. He would host a charity art auction featuring Lisa's paintings. The proceeds would go toward covering her medical expenses and securing Emily's future. But Shaq didn't stop there. Inspired by the joy he found in sketching and painting alongside Lisa, he decided to contribute his own artwork to the event. It was a bold move for someone known as a basketball legend, not an artist, but Shaq felt compelled to take the leap. As word of the event spread, excitement began to build. The announcement on Shaq's social media platforms garnered millions of likes and shares within hours. Fans flooded the comments with messages of support, praising him for using his influence to make a difference. "This is why we love you, Shaq," one comment read. "You're not just a superstar, you're a real-life hero." The night of the event arrived, and the venue was abuzz with energy. Held in a sleek gallery in downtown Los Angeles, the space was transformed into a celebration of resilience and creativity. Lisa's paintings adorned the walls, each piece illuminated under soft lights that brought out the vibrant colors and intricate details. The attendees ranged from celebrities to art enthusiasts to everyday people who had been moved by the story. Cameras flashed as guests entered, and the media eagerly covered the event, dubbing it a night of hope and art. Shaq stood near the entrance, greeting guests with his characteristic warmth and humility. When Emily arrived, holding her mother's hand, she gasped at the sight of her mom's paintings displayed so beautifully. "Mom, they look amazing!" she exclaimed, her eyes wide with wonder. Lisa, though overwhelmed, couldn't stop smiling. "I never thought I'd see my work displayed like this," she whispered to Shaq, her voice trembling with emotion. "You deserve this, Lisa," Shaq said, his voice steady. "And this is just the beginning." As the evening progressed, Shaq took to the stage to address the crowd. The room fell silent as he shared Lisa and Emily's story, his voice filled with both conviction and compassion. "Lisa's art is more than just beautiful," he said. "It's a testament to the human spirit, the ability to find hope and strength even in the darkest times." He then revealed his surprise, a series of his own sketches and paintings, inspired by Lisa and Emily's journey. The crowd erupted into applause as the pieces were unveiled, each one a reflection of Shaq's newfound passion for art. One painting in particular, titled "Strength in Love," depicted a mother and daughter holding hands against a backdrop of vibrant colors. This isn't just about art, Shaq continued. It's about creating a ripple effect of kindness and support. When we come together, we can change lives, and that's what tonight is all about. The auction was a resounding success. Lisa's paintings were sold for far more than she had ever dreamed, and Shaq's pieces, though humbly presented, drew bids from fans and collectors alike. One bidder, a fellow athlete, purchased Shaq's strength in love for an astonishing amount, pledging to display it in his foundation's office as a reminder of the power of resilience. The event didn't just raise funds, it sparked a global movement. Social media lit up with stories of people inspired by Lisa and Emily's journey. Aspiring artists began sharing their work, using hashtags like Canvas of Hope and Inspired by Shaq. Donations poured in, not just for Lisa but for other struggling artists who saw a glimmer of hope in her success. In the weeks that followed, Lisa's paintings were featured in galleries across the country, her name becoming synonymous with strength and perseverance. Shaq's unexpected debut as an artist garnered widespread admiration, proving that talent and passion can flourish in the most unexpected ways. Emily, now the proud daughter of a celebrated artist, often found herself surrounded by love and support from strangers who had been touched by her story. And while the journey hadn't erased their struggles, it had transformed them into something beautiful, a story of hope, resilience, and the extraordinary power of kindness. As Shaq reflected on the night, he felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He had set out to help a family in need, but in doing so, he had discovered a new purpose. Together, they had created something bigger than any of them could have imagined, a legacy of love and inspiration that would continue to ripple through the world for years to come. After Lisa's passing, the weight of her absence was heavy, but Shaquille O'Neal and Emily knew they couldn't let her legacy fade. Lisa's paintings, which once decorated their small apartment, had become symbols of hope, resilience, and love. Shaq, now a permanent figure in Emily's life, was determined to honor Lisa's memory in a way that would continue to inspire others. The idea for a foundation came to Shaq one quiet evening while sitting with Emily. They were flipping through a scrapbook filled with photos of Lisa's artwork, newspaper clippings about the charity auction, and letters from people who had been touched by Lisa's story. "Your mom's story isn't over, Emily," Shaq said softly. "We can use her art and her strength to help others." Together, they created the Canvas of Hope Foundation, dedicated to supporting struggling artists and single parents, just like Lisa. The foundation provided grants for artists to showcase their work, offered workshops for single parents to develop new skills, and hosted annual art exhibitions where unknown artists could shine. The initiative became a beacon of hope for countless people, proving that creativity and kindness could transform lives. Emily, though still grieving, began to find solace in the foundation's mission. She started to explore her own artistic talents, inspired by her mother's love for painting. At first, she was hesitant, worried that her work could never compare to Lisa's. But Shaq, ever the encourager, reminded her that art wasn't about comparison, it was about expression. "Your mom's spirit is in you, Emily," he said. "When you create, you honor her." Under Shaq's guidance, Emily's confidence grew. She spent hours in front of a canvas, experimenting with colors and techniques. Her style was different from Lisa's, bolder, more abstract, but it carried the same emotional depth that had made Lisa's work so powerful. Shaq often sat beside her, sometimes sketching his own ideas or simply cheering her on. "That's beautiful," he'd say, pointing to a piece she deemed imperfect. "You've got your mom's gift." The foundation's annual art exhibition became a family affair for Shaq and Emily. Each year, they would unveil new works from emerging artists and share Lisa's story with attendees. Emily's paintings began to draw attention, not just because of her connection to Lisa but because of the raw emotion they conveyed. One of her most notable pieces, Guardian, depicted a pair of hands, one large and strong, the other small and delicate, holding a paintbrush together. It was her way of honoring both her mother and Shaq. As the foundation grew, so did its impact. Artists who had once struggled to make ends meet were now thriving, and single parents found a community that understood their challenges. Letters poured in from people who had been inspired by Lisa's story, thanking Shaq and Emily for keeping her legacy alive. For Emily, the foundation became more than just a tribute to her mother, it was a source of healing and purpose. Through her art and her work with the foundation, she found a way to carry Lisa's love forward. And for Shaq, seeing Emily grow into a confident and compassionate young woman was the greatest reward of all. In every painting, every workshop, and every story shared through the foundation, Lisa's memory lived on. What had started as a heartbreaking journey of loss had become a powerful movement of hope, proving that even in the face of tragedy, love and kindness could create a legacy that would inspire generations to come. Shaquille O'Neal sat quietly on a park bench, watching Emily sketch beneath the shade of an old oak tree. The sunlight filtered through the branches, casting a golden glow on her determined face as she worked on a new painting. It had been years since that fateful day when a little girl tugged on his sleeve and asked for help, and yet the memory felt as vivid as ever. That simple plea for help had transformed not only Emily's life but his own. Shaq thought back to the moment he first stepped into Lisa's modest home and saw her paintings, each one filled with emotion and resilience. It was then that he had discovered his own hidden talent, a love for art that had been quietly waiting to be unearthed. In helping Emily and Lisa, Shaq had found a part of himself he never knew existed. This journey wasn't just about helping them, Shaq reflected. It was about realizing how much they helped me. Art had become his way of expressing emotions he had often kept buried, and the foundation they had built together had given his life a purpose beyond basketball. Emily, now a confident young woman, had grown into a remarkable artist in her own right. Guided by her mother's legacy and Shaq's unwavering support, she continued to inspire others through her work. Her paintings told stories of hope, love, and resilience, echoing the lessons Lisa had passed down. At every event hosted by the Canvas of Hope Foundation, Emily spoke with a quiet strength, sharing her mother's story and the impact of Shaq's kindness. As Shaq watched her, he couldn't help but feel immense pride. Emily was living proof of the power of compassion and the ripple effects of a single act of kindness. What had started as a desperate plea from a little girl had grown into something extraordinary, a movement that touched countless lives and carried Lisa's memory forward. Shaq stood and joined Emily by her easel, smiling as she looked up at him. "You know," he said, "your mom would be so proud of you." Emily smiled back, her voice steady and filled with gratitude. "And I'm proud of us." Their journey was a testament to the transformative power of kindness. As Shaq put it, sometimes, a small act of kindness can uncover extraordinary potential and inspire millions. Together, they had proven that love, art, and compassion could create a legacy that would never fade.